Prepare to embark on a journey through time and myth, where gods, legends, and epic landscapes collide in a unique Planet Coaster collaboration. Welcome to Overgrowth, a mythological journey through time. A breathtaking park crafted by 10 visionary creators, blending imagination, artistry, and years of dedication. From ancient ruins taken back by nature to mythological realms brimming with wonder, this park is more than just a project, it's a legacy. Created by Red Dragon, Wilde76, Willibix, Morgs, Kit Racer 7, Carella, JimiMac, Trezie Laummann, Amori, and myself, Smiling Oma 333, this is a testament to what our Planet Coaster community can achieve together. So buckle up, my viewers, for a Planeco adventure that you don't want to miss. Happy New Year, and welcome back to my channel, everyone. If you're new here, I'm Smiling Oma 333, and today I'm beyond excited to finally showcase Overgrowth, a mythological journey through time. This park has been years in the making, a collaborative masterpiece brought to life by some amazingly talented creators in the Planet Coaster community. I had the privilege of joining forces with them, and I can't wait to take you through every detail of this incredible experience. So grab a snack, sit back, and let's dive into the adventure of a lifetime as we explore the wonders of Overgrowth. But before we dive in, I want to take a moment to address something. Originally, this video was meant to include a live tour with one of the park's creators, the incredibly talented Willbix. Unfortunately, due to some unforeseen audio issues, I wasn't able to use that recording. But fear not, I've kept the stunning visuals from that session and will guide you through the park myself to ensure this masterpiece gets the spotlight it deserves. So I want to thank Willbix and all of the creators for their amazing work on this project. While I couldn't include our live discussion, I hope this voiceover does justice to their incredible contributions. So let's dig in. We'll start the tour at the entrance of the park and walk up towards the center of the park. My apologies for not being in Digicam, but I had problems with it when touring it. The terraformed map was made by Red Dragon. His terraformed sculptures are legendary, and in this map, you'll see his Zeus, Pegasus, Medusa, Perseus, and Poseidon sculptures. I had fun watching him create the Medusa and Perseus before his handing the park over to Wilde and Willibix. As the path takes us across the water, we see cute little houses that serve as staff rooms and other amenities. To be honest, I'm not sure who made these, but they are cute nonetheless. The benches, lampposts, and finishing touches were done by Amori, who helped quality check things for me and get ready for uploading the park. The outhouse, made by Red, always makes me laugh when I see it. I love the humor. Across from the outhouse is the first Flatride created by Morgs. Morgs also created the Boomerang coaster next to the Flatride. Morgs themed this Flatride very well. It's very complimentary to his coaster too. Here are some cinematics of his Flatride. As we rode this, Willibix also really loved all the overgrown trees that surrounded this area and thought that the flat ride really fit in well. After exiting the ride, we continued checking things out on the right side of the center of the park. Before the coaster, we see the cool and perfectly themed shop Ruinforest Cafe, made by Carella. This shop was the perfect fit in this area of the park. Willibix and I really liked the theming, using the roots for the theming inside of the cafe, as well as the temple pieces. That was something that when we were looking at this, we were both missing the temple pieces in Planet Coaster 2. Great job on this, Carella. As we walk towards the coaster, we come across Andy Puk's amazing basic shape art characters. Andy specifically made these wonderful characters for me for my Lonely Cowboy coaster, and seeing these characters again really warmed my heart. I don't know who placed them here, but whoever it was, thank you. They make great additions here. I'm really bummed out that the audio on my tour with Willibix joining me didn't turn out as well as I had hoped, and that I couldn't salvage a lot of the dialogue between us, because it was at this part when we were looking at these characters, it was fun to listen to Andy's process of making basic shape characters compared to Willibix's making her basic shape characters. Both are legends at basic shape characters, and you'll see Willibix's creations coming up soon. What a beautiful Boomerang, Morgs. Well themed and a lot of fun. And I hope you liked the choice of music I used to accompany this beautiful POV of yours. As we were leaving, I spotted a seating area which was nicely incorporated into the area. Continuing on our way, we pass another cute staff spot and then come to an overgrown bridge crossing that has restrooms and shops as well as a snake exhibit. Both Willibix and I were inspecting those bars and how the snake hopefully stays behind those bars. I really liked walking along the bridge with the gates and lights, which led us to the end of this part of the center of the park. Willibix and I were both stumped as to who placed this Flatride here, but it sure fits really nice at the end, like a pretty jungle flower from above. We make our way back the way we came, this time checking out the left side of the path. We come upon the ruins, which I learned Red had also made. Before riding the coaster, we check out the shops that are part of the coaster. I didn't open the park to guests or for staff to help keep the park running well for the tour. And for anyone who's interested in the stats, here are the stats for the ruins. Both Willibix and I really enjoyed the ride. What I love about it was the scene of Medusa's terraformed head, as well as a sneak peek at what's waiting below. Red's terraformed Medusa head is so awesome. We also really liked the use of the TMTK ruin pieces for the station and area. It's easy to make things look perfect, yet harder to make things look destroyed and overgrown, and Red nailed it. As I was exiting the area, Willibix called me back so we could fully appreciate the TMTK statues that Red had also made. Check out the texture on it. I'm really glad I had Willibix there to point things out for me. Moving right along as we leave the ruins, we come up to the sign for Serpent Run that Amori had made. I asked her to add this as there wasn't anything here to alert guests that this hidden path was even there, and that would be a shame to overlook what's down below. So thank you so much for the sign and the adorable Medusa statue, Amori. I really appreciate that. While you get a glimpse of it from the coaster we just rode, it literally stole my breath walking down here and seeing the scene. So having Willibix with me, I learned that she and Wilde worked on this coaster, Serpent Run, together. Wilde did the coaster layout and Willibix made all of the outstanding basic art-shaped characters that theme this ride. Those TMTK crystals you see that are one of the most popular and used creations in so many Planeco creations are thanks to Willibix, as she made them. A fun detail that I learned having her with me was her pointing out a little touch that she added, the Zeus's pinky. She was quite pleased with that, and it's the little touches that if you're not looking thoroughly, you would miss, and I know I missed it until I had her there with me. but it's the little subtle touches that really add. And even if nobody else knows, you know. And that was something that I really had gained seeing this, and I can appreciate that as I do the same. It was indeed a great touch, and I also really like the details on Medusa's hands. One hand being a crocodile and the other blinged out with rings entwined with snakes. The scene of Medusa and Zeus battling just begs you to give this coaster a ride. So without further ado, let's hop on Serpent Run. Here are the coaster stats for Serpent Run. This was a lot of fun. You really felt immersed with Medusa and her snakes riding this. Willibix shared that she and Wilde would play off what the other were doing with this ride, starting off with the concepts of Zeus versus Medusa and going from there with lightning sparks, down to the one on Zeus's finger, the baby snakes and puffs of blood as you ride the coaster. These two really created a fun and cohesive ride experience with this. While panning around the area, we also admired Red's terraformed Medusa head that you experienced from the Ruins coaster, checking out what he used for the eyes. So the area across from this coaster was bare, with nothing there. When I first came down here to explore, my thoughts kept coming back to Amori's Iron Forge ride skin, themed to Medusa. When I passed the park to her for quality check, I asked her to please add this flat ride of hers down in this area to fill up the space, and I truly feel her creation complements Wilde and Willibix's creation here. What do y'all think? In my opinion, I feel iron forges are hard to theme, and this flat ride impresses me how she themed it, with the snakes covering the pillars. I think Medusa would love it down here with these rides. Last, one thing that I failed to notice until my tour with Willibix was seeing Amori's custom ride sign for Medusa change colors. I hadn't seen that or just noticed that before. Durr. So freaking cool. And I love her basic art shape of Medusa as well. I love Medusa, and this whole area is one of my favorites. Now, let's head back up and continue our tour. Back at the top, we go to the path right after Red's outhouse. There, we see a ginormously themed ride skin, the sundial that's been themed with Overgrowth in mind. Kit Racer 7 themed this ride and queue area. It really fits well in amongst all the tall terraformed trees that Red had sculpted. Nicely done, Kit. You also get some nice views of Medusa and Perseus from the queue too. So which team are you? Team Medusa or Perseus? Let me know in the comments below. Exiting Kit's flat ride, we go back to the path before the queue and follow it around, stopping to look at the theming on the backside of the Ruins coaster and taking in the theming and vibes from this new area. You really feel like you've stumbled upon unearthed ancient ruins with the mythological figures being frozen in time. The terraformed characters are really imposing from the guest perspective. So well done. We look to the right to the large hole in the ground where the Serpent Run coaster is. I'm really glad we didn't miss that. We come up to the next ride on the tour, Zeus Racing, made by Red Dragon. For this POV, I'm going to talk while viewing this. So unfortunately, for this experience, we aren't able to hop on and ride from a guest perspective, as you need guests to do that. And due to not opening up the park, we weren't able to do that. So Willibix and I had fun just going around the track on our own, at our own pace. Even not driving a cart, my driving still sucks. I'm sorry, y'all. Not gonna lie, this would have unnerved me riding this in real life, as just freeway overpasses cause me a lot of anxiety. Since it was only Willibix and I on the course, we stopped our cart to get out and take in the views of the park from this perspective. It was from here that when looking down into the Serpent Run hole that we noticed that Red's terraformed Zeus's arrows are pointing straight down at Willibix's Medusa. We thought that that was pretty cool. I asked if she and Wilde had planned that, but she said that that was just a happy coincidence. We also take a moment to really appreciate the terraformed Zeus. We then hop back into our imaginary go-kart and continue zooming around the course. Hopefully, my driving doesn't make y'all car sick. Working our way towards the other end of the park, after the go-karts, we follow the path across the water, seeing more overgrown trees that follow the theme of the park. Making it across, I decided to start at the very end on the left side and then work our way around the park on this side of the map. So we come up to what looks like a greenhouse type building overtaken by nature. We think that Kit Racer did this building as well, but we're not quite sure. The path led us up the building. It reminded me of a glass pyramid in a way. To the top where there was seating. We continued following the path down inside. It looked like a shopping plaza of sorts as we worked our way down to the bottom. Because I wasn't in Tegid I was trying to be really careful with my camera effects for Willibix and not make her sick watching a stream. I wish I could have salvaged the audio with Willibix, as there was a lot of nice ambient sound effects inside. There was some nice views of the coaster from the Tiki Chiki shop. The Hat's Fantastic was fun. And I butchered the pronunciation of Monsieur Fritz like I am now. Sorry, Willibix, but nice theming inside. Then went inside just a memento and then across to Street Fox Coffee. I really liked the high seating tables inside. We then worked our way back up to the top and then followed the path back the way we came. And continued following straight towards the next coaster. So when I got the park map, the overgrowth that you see themed on this next coaster wasn't there. This coaster just had the coaster track and bear station. And so I asked Amori if she would find a way to theme and integrate the coaster and this area leading up to the next area to make it all cohesive. I think she did a fantastic job blending the overgrowth theme that Kit had used for his Flatride and Plaza that we've just seen, as well as pieces and theming from the Hercules and Babylonian areas to come. I really appreciated Amori doing this so that we could get the park finished. Willibix and I weren't sure, but we think Wilde did the coaster layout for this coaster. Wilde, if you watch this, please let us know. And for those who want to know, here's the stats for the coaster. Well, whoever made that coaster, it was a lot of fun. Continuing towards the next area, we come up to a temple that fits perfectly in this area. Amori did this, and I recognize the custom fire pit she also added inside, which I think was not only a great touch, but a fun little creation. I could see this place being a stopping point for guests to sit and rest before tackling more rides or resting from all the walking in this park. We now make our way up to the next area that Wilde and Willibix worked on together. And this is really, I love the perspective, the forced perspective of these houses in this area. Willibix shared with me that Wilde created the Hades Dark Ride, and then he created the Hercules wooden coaster and began the theming with the houses. And Willibix continued on with Wilde's theming with the houses and then the basic shape of Hercules. But let's stop and take in the awesome sign of Hades before giving it a ride. With Willibix, we rode this first at day, but she suggested it would be better at night, and indeed it was. So I will share the night POV of Hades. That was a really ambient dark ride. What did y'all think? I was going to put my creations down below where we had just come from, but knowing I was making something with Hades, I didn't want this whole area to be heavily Hades, as JimiMac also has an Underworld themed ride as well. So I moved my creations diagonally across from this area on the map, so each Hades creation can have its own area to shine. Walking up to the Hercules coaster and sign, it really is gobsmacking in awe. This area gives me ancient Colossus of Rhodes vibes and other ancient wonders of the world vibes. Willibix's basic shape artistry shines with Hercules, and zooming in you'll see her famous TMTK Viking shields she also created and used here as decoration on Hercules. My camera does some weird shit as I go to zoom in into the coaster. However, I'm keeping it in as it gives us a nice quick cinematic of the area, which was really impressive. Here's the stats for those that like seeing them. It boggles my brain how much coaster track was packed into this ride. I loved going through and around the architecture. Wonderful job, Wilde, and great theming on this, Willibix. We passed by another staff-only building, and I wish I knew who made these so I can give them credit. But whoever made these, great assets to the park. Thank you so much. We work our way down from, as Willibix shared, the royal or noble area down to the common folks area, where there she infused a Genie Flatride very seamlessly into the area. I will share some cinematics so y'all can take in the scope of this area a bit better. Not only did Willibix create amazing basic shape art with Medusa and Zeus in Serpent Run and Hercules and helping theme those rides, but she also did the entire Babylonian area we are now coming up on. The gardens are so beautiful, and I was really enchanted with the giant golden sculptures that reminded me of the pharaohs of Egypt. This whole area contains 3 flat rides and a coaster that she shared with me that she had made but feels embarrassed about, as she says she's not the best coaster maker. I assured her that neither was I, but that the Cloudrunner that she made gave a great view of the area and of the gardens of Babylon that she created, weaving around them, that you'll see in a bit. Also, as we toured this area, I learned that she, like me, does a lot of research before she creates and themes in Planko, and I learned a lot of fun facts about the color palette and artistry that went into this culture and helped shape this creation. It was really fascinating to listen to her and learn what she researched. If you see her in chat, strike up a convo with this smart and interesting creator. I promise you, you'll come away having gained so much from interacting with her. She's such a smart and fascinating person. The other thing I learned was that all of these squares were TMTK panels that she made as well, and it really saves on the piece count. They're colorable too. Her Planco 1 workshop is a treasure trove of TMTK that she's made. We struggled to find the path that would lead us to the coaster she made, and found out the reason was that it was due to not having any path leading up to it. Whoops! Let's hop on and ride her coaster. The coaster definitely gave us some great views of this area, and also at the top when it paused to look out over the park. Here are a couple other favorites from this area I want to be sure to show y'all to enjoy. We walk past the boat station, but we'll return in just a bit. But we make our way towards the next big area of the park. Because this was years in the making and there wasn't a dedicated channel for this collab to see who all was involved, when I learned that Trezie Laummann had created this beautiful boat flat ride, I was really excited. I love the choice of color and theming for this. Willibix also recognized her TMTK stained glass windows she'd made that Laummann incorporated into this. This flat ride also has restrooms themed into it too. As we leave the flat ride, Willibix and I both really appreciated the pieces that Laummann used to create the custom railings and other pieces that you wouldn't normally think to use for things. Moving along the path takes us up to the stunning light pink palace called Villa Pegasus, which is also created by the fabulous creator Laummann. Her villa looks like it could sit right on the Amalfi Coast. Willibix and I take in all the details on this creation. On the side leading to the back are a row of shops, and then it leads to a beautiful gazebo patio seating area where I told Willibix that I could totally see weddings and proposals taking place here. This whole area, the building and garden area, are so romantic. Laummann even has touches of realism with the back door at the back of the villa. Well done, Laummann. For this next area, I really felt it sparkled like a beautiful gem at night. The lighting is so masterful and gives an enchanting vibe that I thought showing it at night would be best. This whole entire area we're now exploring was created by the genius creator who's known in the Dragon Slayer community for crafting phenomenal ride signs like the one you see here to dark ride experiences, and is also legendary at basic shape creations, the wonderful creator JimiMac. This park lucked out in all the basic shape artistry, and I'm so excited for you to see what Willibix and I had a blast checking out. We walked the queue to the well-incorporated and almost missed coaster. And for those who are interested, here are the stats for the coaster Underworld. Wasn't that dope as fuck? We thought so. We had to go back down to the Underworld and take a closer look at all of JimiMac's basic shape characters. For those that missed this, this was the boat that Sharon, I'm going to butcher his name, carries the souls of the dead across the river Styx. Here's another wonderful Medusa. There's Cerberus, the red dragon. I think this had a double meaning, not only being part of a Dragon Slayer collab, but the ones in Pathfinder or Shining Knight that also have ties to the Underworld. Last but not least, this dope Minotaur. Check out the abs on him. JimiMac, Willbix, and Andy PUK, some of the awesomely talented basic shape creators featured in today's video are some of the creators who've helped inspire and pave the way for my own growth as a Planco basic shape artist. I thank them all for inspiring me and others in this game. Heading back up to the surface, we walk up to the Flatride Atlas. This Flatride was so well done. I love that JimiMac thought of this mythological character. Let's get a little bit of cinematics from here. This whole area really reminded me of the streets of Rome. Jimmy, you really outdone yourself with this. Next up, we come up to another Genie Flatride, this time having a really cool theme of Temple Wars, Athens versus Sparta. It's so freaking creative. This is Sparta! I couldn't help but recall that iconic line. It blows my mind that this whole beautiful area is here, and it goes to show to fellow Plancoers out there that rather than going wide in a park to build up with terrain and build it up, it really makes for some amazing vistas and sightlines, like you can see here. After Temple Wars, we take in all of the minute and highly detailed architecture that JimiMac has done in this area. The fountain area with the pretty lights totally has the Italian charm. I can see guests sitting here day or night just soaking in the ambience here. The flowers sunk into the columns is such a great idea. So gonna remember that. Both Willibix and I miss not having the versatile icing pieces in Planco 2. What about y'all? Have you found anything similar to use instead? If so, please let me know in the comments below. We work our way back down to the bottom, stopping to look over balconies and take in the sights. We see Laumann's pretty boat ride lit up and looks so lovely. I will do an overall look at the areas at night before ending the episode. Hopefully, future Smiling remembers to put them in. I know there'll be viewers who will be thinking, what the fuck, Smiling? Why can't you just fast forward or skip over this part to get to the next attraction or area? And I sincerely appreciate your patience and continued viewership in this episode. That is longer than most. The reason I'm not is because, like I've said in this video, this collaboration has been in the works for years amongst 10 creators. Each one has put in their time and creativity into this project, and it would feel insulting to not give each one their rightful due in the video. It is my hope that y'all have gotten lost and immersed going on this tour with me, taking in the really cool creations. While this is a Planco 1 park, I think it can still inspire you in Planet Coaster 2. We almost get to the bottom when I realize I've missed Jimmy's beautiful hotel. So I go in superhero mode, flying up to the hotel, and I'm glad we did, as both Willibix and I were taken with the detailing Jimmy infused. And check out these magnificent custom carpet stairs. So freaking brilliant. We've made it back to the beginning of JimiMac's area. And now it's time to head to the final section of the park, the area I designed. Before we dive in, this is the perfect moment to hit pause, grab another snack, and get comfy as we wrap up this epic journey together. But before we continue, I'm thrilled to introduce a new feature I'll be adding to my Planet Coaster videos each month, Smiling Sweet Picks. This is where I spotlight a creative shop that's been either submitted or requested by you, my amazing community. If you'd like your shop to be featured, check out the link to It's Clouds and Smiling's Chill Spot Discord server in the description for all the details. This month, I've got a truly unique and fun shop to share with you all, and I've been so excited to show it off. Without further delay, here it is! Welcome to this month's Smiling's Sweet Picks. Today, we're uncorking a truly unique creation, Cogs Casks, a dazzling steampunk winery by the incredibly talented console player Ratspit. This one-of-a-kind wine shop brings a touch of steampunk Victorian elegance to your park, where the machinery works as smoothly as the wine flows. And don't miss the piece de resistance, Ratspit's custom steampunk wine bottle, the perfect blend of artistry and ingenuity. So whatever you're toasting to your latest coaster build or celebrating the splashiest flume ride of the season, Cogs Casks is your go-to for vintage vibes with a twist of steam-powered charm. Want to add it to your park? Use the share code 5SFZXJKNO to download it today. Cheers! And don't forget, every pick is sweeter when it's from Smiling Sweet Picks. How cool and creative is that shop, right? Huge thanks to Ratspit for such an awesome submission. Don't forget to tune in next month to see which shop will be featured next in Smiling Sweet Picks. And now it's time for the final section of the park, the Goddess area, designed by yours truly. Let's dive in. When I chose to work on the opposite side of the park, there weren't any pathways or transportation to get over to my area, so I put in a boat ride. However, due to lack of time, Amori kindly stepped in and beautifully themed the two boat stations, incorporating them well into the areas. I really appreciate her help, and it was thanks to her that this park got on the workshop before Planko 2 came out. This boat ride gives a different view and experience of the park. And hopefully I haven't made y'all seasick. I wanted to add mermaids and sirens right here, but I just didn't get a chance, but that would have been the perfect spot. After getting out at the boat station, I take Willibix to the beginning of the path I made to connect this area to the entrance, so at least there's a pathway connecting it to the center. On the right is a colorful Zen seating area that Amori added to this area to fill it up a bit more. It really adds a nice touch and color. You'll see this creation, which is part of a 3-part blueprint in a future episode of Behind the Blueprint, where she is the featured guest. Like JimiMac's area, while this area looks good both day and night, I prefer Aphrodite's temple and Persephone's ride to be at night. I'm super duper proud of my lighting. I owe a huge thanks to the inspiring creator, Trajan, who's made the epic park El Medina. Seeing his palace dedicated to Zephyr, the arches he made were the shape that I needed to finish this temple. So I traced his arch shape to recreate the arch, and then used it as a prototype for the arches for this temple, so I could achieve the recreation I was going for. And I'll insert some pictures here to show you what were my inspirations. I also owe a huge thanks to Wix and his dome tutorial for following along. I was on a big dome rolling spree for this temple and my giant igloo for big balls, so thank you, Wix. Going inside the temple, you see all the real-life artworks that are turned into TMTK thanks to Anne Angelinier, all portraying Aphrodite or Venus, the most iconic being Sandro Botticelli's The Birth of Venus, which also inspired the Flatride on the other side. All aspects you see themed for this temple are symbols of Aphrodite, from the swans, doves, the pearl and seashell, roses, and the giant symbol of Venus pattern on the temple floor. Another reason I wanted to show this at night and was excited to show Willibix was the moonlight shining into the dome's oculus, which allows light to shine down inside the temple. I was so freaking excited when I saw this as I was installing lighting inside the temple. The other cool effect or thing I was tickled to show off was zooming above the temple and then going down inside from above, as you see here. I turn it to day so the words can be seen better. The words across the dome are the lyrics to the song that accompanies the Flatride POV I was born for this from the game Journey in my video. I'll link that video so y'all can check that out. I thought it'd be a nice fit in with the temple and Aphrodite. The lyrics are in Latin, Old English, Homeric Greek, French, and Japanese. I also owe the Genius Creator Batch Thanks for making his TMTK wave tutorial available for me to follow along to. I tweaked the patterns so mine isn't an exact copy of his, but close enough. I'm extremely proud of the trigger work and my water show that my pal Boog suggested I make for the Flatride. Thank you, Batch, and thank you, Boog, for the wonderful suggestion. Here's a little shout out to an animal whisperer I know. Going back to night, we enter the Flatride queue for Persephone's Ascent. I really wanted to create and make a trigger sequence inspired from Floss's King Midas coaster for this Flatride, but I learned making this that flowers, while colorable, aren't triggerable. In addition to the basic shape character of Aphrodite, I also made Persephone, Hades, Demeter, and a farmer toiling in Demeter's fields. I incorporated Lilybat's wonderful magic circle blueprint for the bottom of this Flatride as well. This is my interpretation of Hades' lair. When the ride goes up, you see Demeter crying down into the hole where Persephone was taken away by Hades. Each time Persephone arises from the underworld, the world turns vibrant again, and I did my best to recreate that with the game camera effects. I mirrored the exit the same as the entrance to the ride. I had the exit pathing going directly into Aphrodite's temple, where there are shops inside the temple. I had to show Willibix my derpy doves. I can make detailed basic shape characters, but this is the best I could do for doves. Last, we're heading up to Demeter's area. This was the last area I made for my part in the collab. I tried incorporated forced perspective leading up to this area, seeing first the entrance gate, but then as you get closer, the buildings in the background come into view. But as much as I was pressed for time, I knew there needed to be something more that you see through the entrance in the background that's framed by the entrance in the foreground. So I added another Flatride that you see slightly in the background behind the two larger buildings. So once finished with this area, I realized I hadn't added any bathrooms to this area. The closest one is in the center of the park, so I managed to squeeze one inside of the entrance for the win. Yay! So just like there's a ton of references and symbolism to Aphrodite and Persephone's below, Persephone and Demeter's symbol is the pomegranate. With Demeter's area, I blended the color palettes of both Aphrodite and Persephone's areas, for Demeter's area being the finale. Demeter is the goddess of agriculture, so everything in this area is themed to that to honor her. I had a blast theming this winery. If you've seen my Yuletide Festival park, you'll recognize the credit card logos here. I added them here for a nice touch. And I spent way too much time on these stairs. The wine bottles were inspired from the console community from a dope Western bar I saw. Willibix and I were laughing at my custom wine glasses. Those are my type of wine glasses. On this balcony, the guests can watch Aphrodite's water show down below. Another addition from Yuletide Festival are these custom trash and recycling can coverings that actually have in-game garbage cans in them. The giant champagne bottle is inspired from Wilson Creek's custom wine bottle sculpture. I made a custom wine press, and Frank here gives demonstrations every hour until closing. Even though guests can't access this path, I made this to complete the theming. This is the top part of Persephone's Flatride. Myth has it that Persephone was out in an oak grove collecting narcissus flowers. So this area has oak trees and narcissus flowers, and there's even Persephone's basket on the ground, and this is the hole where she was taken to the underworld. Poor Demeter. In addition to grapes for wine, orchards of pomegranate trees are grown here. I recreated this from many wineries that let you stroll through the vineyards as you sip your wine. And there's lots of seating to sit and just relax and enjoy the ambiance. We won't interrupt this couple who are having a nice little interlude watching grapes get picked. And here we see a happier Demeter in a field of wheat. We come up to a farmer in the fields too. I wonder where I've seen him before. The path through the vineyards brings us around and back to the center of Demeter's area. The second large building has 2 shops inside. Demeter's Harvest is one. I forget which shop is there, but it fit the theme. I missed showing the upstairs balcony and seating area on this building in the tour, but there is one. And Greens of the Earth, which is the in-game bread shop. I made the path go inside the building up to each shop inside and then out through this entrance and around the left through the open market. And it's nice to see someone putting all the pomegranates to use with yummy juice. Not to toot my own horn, but the lighting on the outside of this building, I'm really pleased with how it illuminates the details of the building for a pretty effect. Let's move out of the way for these guys so they can pull the cart up. Last, we come up to the impromptu flat ride that completes this area, the Wheel of the Year. The Wheel of the Year is based off of the pagan or Wiccan Wheel of the Year, with major holy days marked with the time they're celebrated. At the center of the wheel is the Celtic triquetra, known as the Trinity knot. While it's not as elaborate as Aphrodite's below, or the ones I made for Inside Out with the trigger work, I still did a little something for this ride, having Batch's TMTK font triggered to have the colors change as the ride spins around. I had the same thing happening for the custom ride sign at the entrance for swapping colors too. Last, before wrapping up the area, just like Willibix and her subtle touch with Zeus's pinky with the sparks shooting out before, I thought she'd appreciate my own little nod of the oak trees, which are associated with Demeter. People would leave tokens of notes, flowers, and candles to the goddess at the oak tree for her. So I carried that theme with 4 oaks, themed according to the quadrant of season they're in. So 1 for spring, summer, early fall, and then autumn. It's a touch that while most won't even notice, but it's the stuff I do in my creations. There's always meaning, symbolism, and hidden things in my creations. And there you have my area. I burned many a midnight oil working hard to get what I had promised for the collab finished before Planet Coaster 2 came out. I want to thank my family for their patience and support as I worked to finish this. This was the last project I made in Planet Coaster 1, and I feel like at close to 8,000 hours in the game, I finally reached the creative level of so many amazingly talented members in our community with this and Frostival. I'm proud of what we all did in this fun, unique park. And now, as we switch to night, let's take one last look at the park in all its glowing glory. The lighting brings an entirely new level of magic to this masterpiece, doesn't it? A huge shout out once again to the incredible team behind this collaboration. Red Dragon, Wilde76, Willibix, Morgs, Kit Racer 7, Carella, JimiMac, Trezie Laummann, Amori, and well, me. This park is a testament to what we can create together as a community. It's been an honor to showcase it. To everyone who stuck around for this epic video, thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world to me, and I hope you enjoyed the journey as much as I did. If you did, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel grow and keeps me motivated to bring you more content like this. Also, leave a comment with your favorite part of the park below. And be sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. The first episode of Behind the Blueprint, where I'll be spotlighting the amazing creator in our community, Poetry Slam. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. As always, thank you for your support. And until next time, peace, love, and blessed be. Bye, y'all!